Have you ever wondered about the deeper meanings and purpose of business? Well, it seems it's just about making money. Actually, you are shifting money to one entity from others. Making money would be counterfeiting. Funny. I mean, have you ever thought about business in a reflective way? Well, I have wondered why some business persons seem to think they need so much. They become like the living dead in their obsession with money and working. So you are admitting that it is not clear. I guess I also wonder why it often seems to erode the normal sense of ethics and results in such cruelty. Although it also seems that standards have improved over long periods of time. But what is the justification for vicious levels of competition? The justification is that no one controls how money is spent, so the one paying can select anyone for the transaction. The economic structure emerges freely from the interaction of competing parties in the marketplace. So I have to accept my limitations if they are revealed. And maybe develop a habit of letting go of what bothers you in others. It is useless to dwell on resentments. I am going to postulate that business originates with the insecurity of knowing that you are not self-sufficient, and some of that insecurity is carried throughout each aspect of working life. So you think insecurity leads to greed, which leads to more greed because you can never have enough of a good thing. That is part of it, but what do you make of the third world? You mean pre-industrialized societies where the standard of living is on the level of survival? Yes. That seems just as irrational as overaccumulation of money and wealth. It also seems that no good results from the widespread poverty. Education and government are undeveloped, and the result is real trouble. Maybe economic development is just a step on the way to other kinds of development like ethical and cultural improvement. But does business always improve the culture? It does not seem like there is an invariable law to that effect. We really don't know if human beings even act in predictable ways. But neither poverty nor greed are entirely desirable. And it seems that human beings in the West are motivated to develop mastery of the natural world and its resources for our own qualitative betterment. I wonder if it is just a cultural frame of reference without universality. Why then are third world nations striving to develop economically? Maybe they are being brainwashed by the West. But the West is also being influenced at least somewhat by the cultures of Asia. So maybe a synthetic world culture is emerging. I think all motivation is probably an attempt to move away from insufficiency. So in a transaction, both parties are moving away from something they lack and toward a greater sense of satisfaction. Maybe that is the real sense of business. A deal lacking in mutuality is not a real deal. And the ones who set up the means of increasing human well-being are justly awarded a larger share of the overall revenue. It sounds like you doubt that point. How could anyone be worth so much? In reality, the owners are rarely taking the bulk away with them. They are really paying themselves a fraction of the value generated, and the rest goes to expenses and development. It just happens to be a lot because they are producing so much value. You must also consider that they are taking risks. What is risk really? It is the outlay of expenses before income is realized. A farmer is a good example of business. Farming is almost the primordial business. And it is very instructive. For example, the farmer, like a businessman, must realize the vast potentiality of nature and its processes. It is as if nature is oriented toward abundance. Then he must plow and seed the fields as well as harvest before any gain can be realized. So he is entitled to more. He can do what he wants, but the law respects his ownership interests in the value produced. What is the role of government? Government is just a kind of underlying structure that allows human beings to interact harmoniously with each other. Or I should say, it is that way according to the strict theory. In reality, there is inefficiency and some corruption. But isn't government coercive and restricting natural liberty? Government and law are just modes of action. You lost me. Okay. Laws are just written representations of how things get done. Give me an example. Okay, if I have a problem with someone, I have a range of options. I can sue if he is violating the norms, or I can get an injunction, but I cannot just eat his brains. Or shoot him dead. Or shoot him dead or blow up his house or poison his dogs. So the law tells you how to act and what actions are not allowed in order to preserve social harmony. That is right. Law and government are ways of actualizing intentions or guides to action. Law depends on universality, so it never really negatively impacts liberty. That went over my head. It is simple. If, for example, a form of currency is deemed usable, it must be accepted by all because all like cases must be treated the same way. To protect the free speech rights of one is to protect the same right in each and every case. So a proper law just equalizes all cases with the same underlying logic. Yes. So if we agree that suppression of violence against those who disagree with us is an acceptable or desirable goal, then it is that way in all cases. The citizens will then find loyalty reasonable because each is equally protected. There is another interesting aspect of this as well. Clue me in, dude. Why is foreign currency useless in America? You mean the value of paper currency is just conventional? Yes. We agree to accept it because we have a sense of trust in each other and in the enforcement mechanism that makes it negotiable. In a state of nature it would be meaningless. That is why cultural solidarity is so important. It is also likely that basic ethics are required. Yes, that is what I mean. Social order is the source of wealth and not a detraction from it.